It was a calm Thursday afternoon at a prestigious university in Washington, D.C. The large lecture hall buzzed with conversation as students settled into their seats. Today's class in political rhetoric and public perception was highly anticipated. Dr. Grant Wilson, a well-known professor with a reputation for delivering thought-provoking yet controversial lectures, walked in briskly. He greeted the class with his usual commanding presence, adjusting his microphone. "All right, everyone, settle down," Dr. Wilson began, pacing the stage. "Today, we're discussing the power of public image and how it shapes influence. It's something crucial for politicians, celebrities, and public figures. They're often seen as symbols more than as real people. And, like it or not, these perceptions affect policies and public opinion." He paused and flashed a wry smile. "Let's take Melania Trump as an example. To many, she's just a trophy wife. Married to Donald Trump, had a few photo shoots, and now she's in the history books as a first lady. Not exactly groundbreaking, right?" The room filled with nervous laughter. A few students exchanged awkward glances, sensing the tension in the air. Some chuckled uncomfortably, others silently absorbed the comment. To Dr. Wilson, it was just another casual example to liven up the class. At the back of the room, a young man sat still, his expression hardening. Barron Trump, under a different name for privacy, had attended this class quietly for weeks, blending in like any other student. But now, the words hit a deeply personal nerve. He took a deep breath, steadying his racing heart. He could let it go, as he usually did when people made snide comments about his family. But not today. Today, something inside him refused to stay silent. He raised his hand. Dr. Wilson, noticing the raised hand, smirked slightly. "Ah, we've got a question already? We haven't even finished the introduction." "All right, go ahead, what's your name again?" "Barron," he said firmly, standing up. His voice was calm but filled with conviction. The room fell eerily silent as students turned to see who had spoken. "Okay, Barron," Dr. Wilson said, crossing his arms. "What's on your mind?" "With all due respect, Professor," Barron began, his eyes locked on Dr. Wilson's, "I think you're oversimplifying things. My mother is much more than a trophy wife. She's fluent in 5 languages, English, Slovene, French, German, and Italian. She worked hard to build a successful modeling career before marrying my father. And as First Lady, she launched the Be Best initiative to promote children's well-being, which has helped thousands. Doesn't that count as accomplishment?" The room grew tense. You could hear a pin drop. The students sat in stunned silence, realizing the gravity of the situation. Slowly, the whispers began. "Wait. Barron, is that him? Is that Barron Trump? No way. Oh my God, I think it is." Dr. Wilson blinked, momentarily thrown off balance. He hadn't expected such a pointed response. He cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. "Well, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just using her as a public example. You know, a little humor." Barron raised an eyebrow. "There's a fine line between humor and disrespect. When you dismiss someone's achievements because of their relationship or public image, you're spreading a stereotype. Isn't the point of this class to challenge those kinds of biases?" Several students nodded in agreement. A girl in the front row, Lily, raised her hand to speak. "He's right, Professor. I mean, if someone said something like that about my mom, I'd be pretty upset too. We're here to learn about empathy and perception, right? Maybe we should think twice before making snap judgments." Another student, Michael, chimed in from the middle row. "Yeah, I've always heard people criticize Melania, but I never really knew anything about her. What Barron said actually changed my perspective." The whispers and murmurs turned into a chorus of agreement. Dr. Wilson sighed, realizing the atmosphere had shifted against him. He raised his hands in a gesture of surrender. All right, all right. You all make a fair point. Sometimes, we professors get carried away with our examples. I appreciate you calling me out, Barron. This is a learning moment for all of us. Barron nodded. Thank you. I didn't mean to derail the lecture, but I think it's important to recognize the whole person behind the public figure. The class broke into spontaneous applause. Barron's calm yet powerful defense of his mother had earned the respect of his peers. He sat back down, feeling a surge of relief and pride. After class, a group of students approached him. Lily was the first to speak. That was really brave of you. You handled it so well. Yeah, Michael added. I had no idea you were Barron Trump. But honestly, you just became the coolest guy on campus. Barron chuckled softly. Thanks, but I'm just here to learn like everyone else. Another student, Kevin, shook his hand. Man, that was legendary. You stood up to Dr. Wilson. Not many people can say they did that. As word of the incident spread across campus, it caught the attention of the media. Within days, news outlets were reporting on how Barron Trump had stood up for his mother with grace and maturity. Social media exploded with praise, calling him a role model for young people. Meanwhile, Dr. Wilson reflected on the event and issued a formal apology. In an email to his students, he wrote, I want to thank Barron for reminding me of the importance of empathy and perspective. We all have biases, but it's crucial to challenge them. This was a humbling experience. Later, Dr. Wilson approached Barron with a proposal. Barron, I was thinking, maybe we could organize a seminar together on empathy and leadership. I think it could really benefit the student body. What do you say? Barron smiled. I'd be honored. I think it's a great idea. The seminar became one of the most well-attended events on campus, sparking thoughtful conversations about stereotypes, empathy, and leadership. Barron's courage had not only changed the dynamics of his class but also inspired a broader movement toward understanding and compassion. In the days that followed, Barron reflected on the experience. He knew that sometimes, the greatest lessons weren't learned from textbooks but from standing up for what's right. And that moment in the lecture hall became a powerful story of courage, integrity, and empathy, one that touched hearts far beyond the university walls.